Are you ready for today's ride where we will push deeper into Vietnam's northern frontier? Even though the weather is not on our side, as we can see a densely cloud-covered sky that gives us a low visibility rate and lots of shifting lights, making it harder to capture the full scale of what will lie ahead, but nevertheless we will press on and hopefully not getting into the rain, as this stretch of the national route QL6 already doesn't wait for us to unfold its perfect conditions. It is a section that will cut through a raw and unforgiving corridor where limestone cliffs tower over the road and where terraced fields cling to the slopes, farmland that has been shaped by generations of hard and bone-breaking labor. The terrain will be extremely wild, the road unusually rough, and the boundary we shall approach will be as imposing as it is beautiful, and so, even under a gray sky, this landscape will demand our full attention. The road will lead us past Bon Hang, where we veer off the highway and onto the village of Suối Lìn in the Vân Hồ commune, a setting which marks the beginning of the rugged mountain pass trail, a stretch that is one of the most scenic countryside routes here in this region. From there, we descend into the KHOA district and reach the village of Bon Nha Cha, where we will merge onto the rural road DT-101, until we reach the QL43 fork at Bon Pua in the Vân Hồ district. Then at the road fork we transition onto the route QL43, which is a winding stretch that hugs the hillsides and guides us toward Ben Tre in the CHİnh commune of the Mộc Châu district. There, the Da River, which is a vast waterway that has shaped commerce and movement for centuries, will open up on us and dominate the landscape. This will also be the location where we will board the local ferry for our first river crossing here in Vietnam, a scenic spot that is also offering us a panoramic view of the riverbanks and the distant Ban Lien and Tan Phong mountain peak panorama. Once we reach the other side of the river in the Van Yen community of CHİnh in the Phu Yen district, we shall then continue along the Song Tak Lake to Ban Nha Cam, a forested village where stilt houses still rise among the trees, and nestled in the vegetable basket of the Gia Phu district. From there we will start the final leg that takes us onto Route QL37. To the town of Phu Yen, which is known for its ethnic diversity, cool climate, and untouched natural beauty, which is located at the beginning of the Muong Khoi Valley of the Son La province. This ride isn't just a transfer, no, this is a journey through evolving terrain, layered histories, and living traditions, and if you are also drawn into this raw and real side of traveling, then join me now, as this ride will be for you too. We're now riding on the QL6 from Tong, a segment that links the Dao Junction to the Mộc Châu Jan town that is well known to be an interchange point for countless trucks which are coming and going to the Qua Khao Long Sap crossing at the border of Laos. It is a stretch that is known for its sharp curves and steep gradients and therefore demanding full concentration from anyone behind the wheels. But before all that, somewhere along our ride we will pass the iconic S-shaped road before entering the Vân Hồ district, which is a stretch that already became a landmark etched into the local memory and which is often featured in travel documentaries. This thoroughfare segment is not just a scenic bend, but it is a symbol of the region's rugged terrain and the engineering it took to tame it, and so every kilometer here feels like a test of endurance and a preview of the dramatic landscape that lies ahead of us. If you are also curious why people have trees on their bikes or car trunks, I learned from a local that this is because Mộc Chau's lively tree market takes here place every Lunar New Year. It is at these markets that villagers from Pa Ken and Nha Ca bring peach blossom trees down from the hills for sale. And as we can see, the locals and tourists come here and gather early to buy trees, enjoy snacks, and browse for decorations. And so the Hmong and Thai families sell their best peach blossom branches, while children play and having their fun by exploring the different stalls, and by midday, hundreds of trees will be sold and taken to homes across the area and the country. The next larger town ahead of us is called Mộc Châu, and interestingly it was once called Móle by the Black Thai, and it began as a frontier land known to them as the Barbarian Land, home to the ancient Cha people. Then over the centuries, the Cha community was displaced, and transforming into the Hmong communities as the Thai clans rose to power. During the Lai, Tran dynasties, the area of Mộc Châu was nominally part of the Annamese Empire, but yet it remained independent under the leaders like Trinh Giac Mat. By the 17th century, this region split into the Black Thai ruled Mộc Châu, and the White Thai held Mai Châu, which we just departed and is located further south. Under the French colonial rule, the clans of Mộc Châu gained limited autonomy and flying black flags embroidered with white snakes. In 1952, the Viet Minh forces used Mộc Châu as a strategic supply hub to cripple the French military operations here in the northwest. Later in 2023, the Vietnamese government elevated Mộc Châu to town status, only to dissolve it 2 years later in the 2025 countrywide sweeping administrative reform. Its legacy now lives on in the newly formed wards and communes, with Mộc Châu ward inheriting its cultural heart, such as the tales of horse races that is dividing ancient borders and still echoes in annual festivals, as tourists flock to its tea hills, waterfalls, and vibrant ethnic heritage, and so this area of Mộc Châu still remains a land shaped by displacement, resilience, and reinvention. I did not expect the road to vanish into fog so quickly. One moment ago I was just cruising along the S-shaped curve of the National Highway QL6. And the next, the limestone cliffs disappeared behind a curtain of mist and the air is turning sharp and cold, the kind of chill that bites through your jacket and wakes you up better than a black double coffee shot. Slowing down now, not just for safety, but also because something about the silence demanded it, and I decided to circumvent the town of Mộc Châu and taking a detour through the Vân Hồ district and further into the direction of Suối Lìn, and then over the mountain pass trail to CHİnh, which should be a more exciting route, so let's see how it goes. And here in the village of Suối Lìn the road is suddenly changing to a brutally uneven surface with deep water-filled potholes. And I am feeling every jolt as I navigating the ruts, holes, and loose stones, but nevertheless I still keep going, as I know the upcoming scenery of the CHİnh Valley and its village will be worth the struggle. Having left the thick mist and the rough road of Suối Lìn behind us, the motorbike is humming steadily as we are climbing the narrow trail, which is flanked by bamboo groves and quiet terraced fields. Even though the cold is biting into my fingers as we reaching a height of around 800 plus meters above sea level. But the amazing views and the silence of the hills is keeping me very well focused, as this is not a road to play with, or to be distracted by it. As we can see, we now reached the higher ground, and so the fog also began to lift and revealing the valley of CHİnh below us. It looks wide-reaching, almost endless, and with a history that is running very deep. It was once a part of Mộc Châu district, but after 2013 CHİnh was reassigned to the newly formed Vân Hồ district, which is a quiet administrative shift that marks a new chapter for the villages here in the CHİnh commune. Passing now through the hamlets nestled here on the road number DT101, it seems to me that each of these villages run on their own rhythm. Farmers at work, and children waving as we are riding onwards, and funny, the land feels like lived in, not just inhabited, and that makes me feel that CHİN is certainly not a tourist hotspot per se, but it is holding something much more enduring. And that is a sense of place that might feel like just another road to any stranger. But to us who are riding it, meeting the locals, and learning their stories, it becomes a place of belonging, a setting of reflection, or even a point of transformation. We now merged with the national road QL43. And this is the road that starts at the milestone 255 in the Long Sap commune of the Pa Hang border town area, which is situated right on the border to Laos, and connecting Vietnam with the town of Sap Bao, in the country of Laos. It is also the road that continues from here into the northeast to the town of Ban Na Kham in Gia Phu of the Phù Yên district, which is the village where we are heading to. And since we have a long ride ahead, let's take some time to discuss the province of Son La we're currently passing through. The Son La province sits here in the very rugged parts of northwestern Vietnam, where the mountains stretch like waves and the mist clings like ghostly wafts to the valleys. Its capital, which is the city of Son La, was once a colonial outpost, and the home to a notorious French prison that now stands as a museum of resistance. The province is very vast as it is over 14,000 square kilometers and home to more than 1 million people, of which most of them are from the ethnic minorities like the Thai, the Hmong, and the Muong communities. Traveling through this province means crossing winding passes, terraced rice fields, and passing remote hamlets where the tradition still shapes the daily life. In Mộc Châu, we had the green tea hills, the peach blossom trees, and the dairy farms that defined the landscape, while in Vân Hồ we encountered misty trails and community-based tourism. Further up to the northeast is the Ta Shua Nature Reserve, which is famous for its dramatic mountain landscapes and the surreal sea of clouds that rolls through its valleys each morning. The reserve spans over 17,000 hectares and includes peaks like the 2,765-meter-high Phu Chiem Sun Mountain, and therefore making it a prime destination for trekking, cloud hunting, and biodiversity researches. The conservation area is also inhabited by ethnic groups such as the Hmong and the Thai. And so, Ta Shua is offering visitors not only a stunning nature but also a very rich cultural experience through local festivals, regional cuisine, and cozy authentic homestays. And then there is the Pha Dinh Pass, a 32-kilometer stretch along the National Highway QL6 that connects the Son La province with the Dien Bien province in the rough mountainous area of the northwestern parts of Vietnam. The pass stands at a stunning 1,648 meters height, and it played a critical role in the 1954 Dien Bien Phu campaign, where Vietnamese forces braved the French bombings during transporting their supplies through these treacherous terrain. Today, a memorial honors their resilience. While the pass is divided into the old and the new route, it draws travelers with its misty peaks, winding roads, and sweeping views. Most interestingly is that this pass is known to the Thais as the meeting place between heaven and earth, and so the Pha Dinh Pass remains a place where unforgotten history and incredible beauty joins together once again. Then the province also played a strategic role during the First Indochina War, where the Viet Minh forces used its terrain to disrupt the French supply lines. And as of today, its remnants of bunkers and battlefields are tucked between waterfalls and orchid gardens and almost forgotten. This province is also well known for its vivid festivals, which include horse races, Gen Bon rituals, and plum blossom celebrations that brings the villages to life and happiness during every springtime season. However, despite of its remoteness, the Son La province is changing fast. And the roads are improving rapidly, the ecotourism is growing steadily, and the young local generation is returning home to build their homestays and cultural centers to cement their stories in wood and stones. And so we can see that the province remains deeply rooted in its past. With each district, starting from Song Ma in the far northeast, to Guin Nai in the north, and Mộc Châu in the south, and all of them carry countless stories of migration, resilience, and quiet transformation, and this is making the Son La province not just any place on the map, but a living archive of Vietnam's indestructible highland soul.
Hey. Hello, hello.
Overlooking now the Nam Muong Valley, which is a commune here in the Mộc Châu district of the province of Son La, and home to a mix of ethnic communities that consist primarily of the Thais, the Hmong, and the CHİNs, and it is known for its agricultural activities like their tea cultivation and dairy farming, as well as for its growing ecotourism potential due to its beautiful and unspoiled landscapes.
Oh, I'm arriving at the lake.
We are now arriving in the quiet commune of CHİN, in the Ben Tre hamlet, an outpost which sits tucked among the misty hills, and where the locals gather before crossing the Da River. The Vạn Yên Ferry, a modest boat on Highway QL 43, carries motorcycles, produce, and stories between Mộc Châu and Phù Yên for just 5,000 Vietnamese dong, and each crossing feels like timeless, as there is no rush. Here it is just the rhythm of the water and the hum of the engines. For countless villagers of this region, it is not just a commute but a daily ritual that connects tightly knit mountain life to the wider world of commerce. The Da River is one of Vietnam's longest and most powerful waterways. It flows from China into the northwest and carving deep valleys and feeding countless tributaries. To harness its force, Vietnam built three massive hydropower plants, namely the Hoa Ben, the Son La, and the Lai Chau power plant, and all three together generating nearly 6,000 megawatts and supplying roughly 30% of the nation's electricity. These three dams not only light up the cities but also regulate floods and sustain agriculture across the Red River Delta. Just imagine that this was once a very wild frontier, and now the river arms pulse with energy and commerce and linking the remote highlands to Vietnam's fast-evolving modern grid.
Jesus.
Now we are on the road from Van Yen to Tuong Thuong, which hugs the Song Tak arm of the Da River, and winding past many quiet coves and mirror-like water surface. Here the clouds are also still clinging to the hills as the fishermen drift silently in wooden boats and casting their nets into the glassy water surface and hoping for a good catch. Motorbikes, cars and trucks hum together with us along the lakeside as we passing the many small villages, the banana groves, the countless cornfields, and the occasional roadside tea stalls. As we can clearly see, the river here is calm, but its power is felt upstream, where hydropower stations harness its flow to light up the region. Locals here still wave at us as we pass them, and the children splash in the shallows, their laughter echoing off the cliffs. This is really a ride that feels both remote and connected, as this is the region where nature, community, and the quiet strength meet. We also can see that the landscape here shifts, from mountain cliffs to rice paddies that stretch wide, and the occasional stilt houses that peek through groves of bamboo and piercing our eyes with its beauty. This district, which is called Phù and nestled here in the province of Son La, is home to diverse ethnic communities, such as the Thais and the Hmong people, which is a minority group whose traditions are still shaping the rhythm of the daily life here. And so, the Da River's presence here is more than just a scenic beauty, because this waterway is still nourishing the land and its people. Here the local markets are still bustling with mountain produce, and the ferry crossing still echoes the slower pace of an earlier time, and that makes this valley so irresistible peaceful. Here in the region of Phù Yên, the road is not just a route, it is a thread that is connecting heritage, livelihood, and the enduring pull of the river. Each bend carries the memory of generations, and each crossing reminds us, as tourers, that this land is shaped by water and time, continuing to flow with silent strength and the purpose of sustaining livelihoods. The road QL43 from here in Bon Chon will be merging soon into the QL37 and continue to Bon Dong, which is also located in the Phù Yên district and on our way to the city of Phù Yên. We can also notice that the valley is now gradually opening into a patchwork of farmland, where terraced fields and small plots of homesteads reflect the region's agricultural backbone. This area is sparsely populated and shaped by ethnic communities who rely on subsistence farming and seasonal crops. We are now officially entering the town of Phù Yên, which is the district capital of the Phù Yên district. And if you are still here, thank you for being part of my journey. A trip that started today morning in the misty valleys of Mộc Châu and continued to the highland farms of Mộc Châu. And then across winding passes to Vạn Yên and the river crossing at CHİnh, we truly have followed a path steeped in memory and deep meaning. Now, as we arrive in the city of Phù Yên, we will be diving into its vibrant markets, quiet lakes, and the cultural heartbeat of Son La province. This highland city, surrounded by tea hills, ethnic villages, and the solemn not forest, pulses with many stories of resilience and tradition. It is also a gateway to Vietnam's untouched north, a region where authenticity lives in every street and where the land still whispers its history. So, if this sounds like your kind of adventure, hit subscribe and come with us, because the road ahead is wild, rare, and absolutely worth the ride.